Hello, everyone. Welcome to another weekly live for Connect the Six. I am your co-host Rachel, and I will be joined with my co-host Natasha, and we're going to be discussing all things 2020. So, thank you all for joining. I look forward to speaking with all of you, hearing your own viewpoints in regards to 2020, what you enjoyed, what you learned, the whole nine. So I'm just waiting on Natasha. Hello.
Hey, Rachel.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know, it's funny, this new Instagram, whenever I try to go live the first time, it doesn't work. I always have to do it like a couple of times before it actually goes live. It's like the first time when I click to go live, it just goes blank.
Like circled.
Yeah. And then I do it again, and then I finally see checking connection, letting your followers know. So apologies.
That's so funny.
Sorry.
It's funny because I was like, okay, it's 7:01, and then usually you message me, Natasha, at 7:01. So I'm like, what's good?
I know. I was sitting here for like the last little bit, and I just kept going like live, off. And then
Oh no. All right, cool. But it's good that we're here. I know we have a few people. I see Tyler. I see Richard.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome.
You can hear us. Okay, cool. We're getting hearts so people can hear us. Nice.
So I was saying that this is the last live.
I know.
Of
2020. Yes. Yeah.
I can't believe it's 2020. I can't believe it's the new year.
I know. That's what I kept saying today. I was saying to my husband, I'm like, is today the 30th? Today's the 30th. There's one more day of the year. Oh my gosh, there's one more day of the year. It has all this stuff to do, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, so here we are. We're going to do a quick community recap. And it's interesting because I was going through just since our last community recap, we've been busy. Right? It's funny because sometimes when you're in it, you don't realize it.
You don't realize it at all. And it's funny, I was telling somebody, I said, when we first had this conversation back in
April. Yeah.
We had only planned out
summer.
Like we had planned up until the end of June, and then we were like, hey, after June we'll follow back, we'll see from there, we'll see what goes. And now we're in December, and we've had a live every week with the exception of Canada Day weekend.
Yes. I know.
So we've had a number of guests from all over the city. We've had guests from all over the country, to be honest, and even one from the States. And I'm actually amazed at how just a simple conversation has turned into this, really.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing, right? I mean, I remember our first conversation. Richard was telling me, you have to reach out to Rachel. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give her a call right now. And I'm like, hey, I have this idea. Let's do this thing. And you're like all on it. And we jumped on it and we vibed really well. And we're able to do this. And then, we've had so many people who've been interested in being on Connect the Six. Because people love the idea of building community and connecting. And I think especially during this COVID time, because to be honest, that's why we decided to do this. Connect the Six, because we were in COVID times, because things were limited. So we said, you know what? We really want to still be able to connect the community, and people have been loving it. I've been getting emails for people who want to be guests of ours for January and February. Yes.
Because there's times when we're looking for guests. So.
Yes. Yeah. So if anyone's out there and you are running a program, a business, you have an idea, you want to talk about what you're doing, initiatives that you have, give us a call, email us, send us a DM, because we're always looking for amazing people, whether in the six, out of the six, different provinces. Honestly, we've had
It
people
could
from
be,
the States jump on. So,
yeah,
yeah.
international for sure. Um, and we've met so many people from different backgrounds, like
I know.
educational backgrounds, academic backgrounds, people
Yeah.
who started their own
Community
businesses,
activism.
community, yeah, like
Yes.
social backgrounds. Like we've met so many different people, and a lot of them may not have the platform to really showcase what it
Yes.
is that they're doing. And we've been
Yes.
able to provide them with that platform. And I've
Yeah.
learned a lot.
Same.
I've
Yes.
met, like, from a networking perspective, we've seen
Yes.
various guests that we have actually collaborate after the fact and
Yeah.
work together. So, yeah, it's like a great way to bring the community together for sure.
It definitely has been. And it's nice to know. I've had people say, oh my goodness, yes, I look forward to Wednesday because I know it's going to be a good conversation, right? We've
Yeah,
had emotional conversations. We've had tough, hard conversations.
yeah,
And we just try to keep it as real as possible while educating.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll do a little bit of a recap and
Yeah.
go back. We did a recap back in the summer a
Yeah,
little bit.
September 9th. I was looking at dates. Did you get my email?
I did get your email.
Good, cool.
Just opened it up.
Cool.
So we did a bit
So,
of a recap for
yep,
half of the year.
yep.
So now this is just sort of recapping from there, and even going back to what would you say were some of your most memorable lives?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and you know what? I think for me, the live with um, Joelle Cabby-Soso from Sisters in Sync, when she was talking about her experience being gang raped, when she was talking about her experience with the justice system and being told it was her fault. Why did she wear that? Why was she drinking alcohol? Why was she out? It's just so, and especially as a Black woman,
Yeah,
it was such a, I guess, that heart jerking, pulling conversation that here is a person who was reaching out to the justice system for help, and she was re-victimized, re-traumatized,
yeah,
wasn't given the help that she was looking for,
mm-hmm.
which was really, really hard. But what I loved about that conversation is that she doesn't keep herself within that victim role and victim
Yeah,
mentality, because she's doing some amazing thing where she's recognized the need for women empowerment,
mm-hmm.
and then how she was able to start her business,
Mm-hmm.
Sisters in Sync, out in Hamilton,
Yeah.
where she works really on women empowerment. Right, so for me, that was one of the ones that stood out.
Her story was very touching because I think we've all been that young teenage, whether it be
Yeah,
boy or
18-year-old
girl,
old,
want
right?
to just have fun, you know, um, and maybe you want to do things with your friends, and it's not necessarily what your parents may like, but you're just trying to have fun, right? And
Yep.
it's as sad as it is, the occurrence of that happening,
Too
there's
common.
more occurrences of that, and it's so common, and not
Yeah.
many people speak on it. And
Yeah.
not just that, but also the fact that even from her family, she lacks that support.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was the other thing that touched me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Same. Same. And not only that, like lacking that support from her family and still reaching out and still speaking out and still coming, I mean, on this platform
Yeah.
and speaking so openly, and she's been on a number of different platforms speaking
Mm.
very openly about her experiences, right? So not really, even knowing that she may not have certain people within her family support, maybe not having the justice system support, but still making sure she still finds avenues where she is supported.
Yeah, exactly. And making sure other people feel support too, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, well, what about you? What stood out for you?
um, there was quite a few.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, take your time. There's been a lot. A lot has happened.
there's been a lot. There's been quite a few.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I would say was my, and I'll also make sure my camera stays up.
Yeah, you're
Um,
good.
I would say I had two.
Hmm.
Um, the two that really, really impacted me was the Project I Rise
Mm-hmm.
live.
Yep.
Um, talking about
With
sexual
Ronelle
assault.
Bruder.
Yeah, I think that one was really big, especially as someone who herself has experienced it, and
Mm-hmm.
how she's able to assist others.
Yes.
I think that was really big because we don't
Mm-hmm.
talk about that very often.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that was one that really, really touched me.
Mm.
Pages break free from the bullshit.
Yeah.
Speaking to millennials and really just getting to your goals, not letting anything hold you back. Just do it. That's really her motto and what she went through
Mm-hmm.
in terms of her quote unquote being a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And coming from that, I think that one was really touching.
Yeah.
Um, last week's had me.
Yeah.
Last week's double consciousness with Sandra McKechnie. That had me thinking to a whole. It actually had me up at night. I'll tell you this. I was up till
Okay.
maybe 3 or 4 in the morning researching this whole double consciousness. Because it's not something that you really think of until it's brought to you. The idea of having two identities.
Mm.
In
Yes.
regards to the way I may speak with my
Yep.
friends and family and people from my culture, and then the way I will speak when it comes to somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
and how we often sometimes will say, like, when someone's talking prim and proper, oh, you're talking white, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that whole idea of having like that two identities, like I have to act a certain way to be accepted
Accepted.
by
Yep.
this group. If I go to this school, I need to change my hair, make sure my hair is straight. I need to
Mm-hmm.
change the way I dress. I need to change. Um, and we don't really think about that double consciousness, that idea of having two
Mm-hmm.
identities. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
and she brought it back to like um, it being social. What did she? I think she said something like social slavery.
Yeah. It's so interesting because as you're speaking, it's taking me back to undergrad years. And this is for me a while ago. I'll just put it that way. It's more than 15 years ago, I'll put it there. Um, And it's interesting because we used to talk about at that time when I was studying psychology and studying culture psychology, the idea of having a bicultural identity. That's like the psych term, right? To double consciousness. The idea that we're living like two cultures, dual cultures. So whether our culture at home, whether it's our right Jamaican household or Caribbean household or whatever, and then the Canadian, right, for lack of a
Yeah,
better way to say it, like a Canadian identity. And I think, like, especially like to piggyback on what Sandra was saying last week, it's the idea that we have to code switch and transform to feel accepted, to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel that we're taking seriously, especially from a professional standpoint or trying to build our profession in a standpoint, right? So it's interesting that, yes, there is that double consciousness, that awareness.
yeah,
And I think it's funny because I've been doing speaking on imposter syndrome and racial trauma lately. And I think there's so much to that because there is that racial trauma, and everyone who knows me knows I talk about trauma a lot and racial trauma as well. But then when you think about like how a lot of us have gone through the idea of not belonging,
Yeah.
of feeling like we don't belong in certain fields or avenues or things like that, right? So it's so interesting, that double consciousness idea. There's
Yeah.
so much truth to it.
I never thought about it before that. And when she
Yeah.
first was giving me the recap of it,
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to be deep. And it was like, I was up till 3, 4 in the morning, like YouTubing and researching and trying to understand this W.E. Du Bois reasoning in terms of coining this term. And there's so much, there's a wealth of information. They teach like university courses on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that you can go on and on about, but like even just to sort of get a glimpse of what that looks like.
Yeah. 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 Because identity, it's such a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's such a big thing. So, yeah, no, it's interesting too to end the year with Sandra talking about that. I know she has like a, oh gosh, not a course, but a workshop that she also gives.
Yeah. So
Right?
it's called double consciousness, the dichotomy and duality of two nations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's important, and it's I can imagine the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's barriers that are being lifted. There's a lot that's being brought to the forefront. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of emotions. It's traumatic for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Someone saying, yeah, go ahead.
Fly Kicks Trap. When you have a moment, check out Critical Consciousness if you haven't as well. Mm-hmm. Will do.
Yeah. For sure. I think we have to screenshot that. Hold on. I'm going to try to screenshot.
Write it down.
Okay, I screenshot it.
Amazing. But
cool. Thank you for that. Critical consciousness. Yep, definitely. Definitely. You know something else that stood out to me? Well, Arlene, when Arlene was on, Arlene Jane, and what I loved about it is because she is, you know, she speaks about being street involved. She speaks about redefining therapy and things like that. And I really like that she's able to go into a therapeutic setting, but be completely real, completely herself, and also know that there's an avenue, right? Because I think a lot of times, and I've gone through this myself, thinking that you have to fit into a certain state of mind and mind frame of what the profession, whatever, looks like.
Yeah.
So I love that she's been able to really define it and redefine. And I think that's exactly where therapy needs to go. It's not, you know, it's not like the Freud's, Adler's, whoever you see that we're taught, but really we need to meet people where they're at. And she's able to do that. And I love that.
That's the thing is, especially when we're looking at therapy, a lot of people, they're not able to open up as it is.
Yeah, there's fear.
So when you go in to meet somebody and they seem to look completely different than you, they might be sort of like that white collar, white glove look, you're not necessarily comfortable to open up to them. Because you, in your mind, might think maybe they have their own biases and what have you. And Arlene's really been that one. And I mean, I know Arlene personally, and she's always been someone to never really conform to anybody's standards. And so for working with street-involved individuals, she's never been one to say, no, I'm going to look a certain way because I'm providing this therapy. She says, no, this is who I am. And she provides it to them in a setting where they're comfortable and they're able to build that level of trust and they're able to come forward, because there's a lot of individuals who might either be drug users, homeless, sex workers, drug dealers, possibly people who've had some sort of contact with the system. They're not necessarily going to open up to someone who they can't relate to or who doesn't understand where they're coming from. And she has that lived experience. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and she's been able to make it her niche, right? Her practice niche, which is amazing.
Yeah. No, she's done a lot of work fighting for those without a voice and those who
Mm-hmm.
may not necessarily know where to turn to, or that the system themselves have turned against, really.
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
support for them. Um,
Yeah.
so it's been amazing to watch her journey and see her be able to open up a practice and really provide support for those individuals. So I'm very
Mm-hmm.
happy we were able to have her on for sure.
Yeah, me too. Especially with Arlene, because I feel like we were trying to have her on since June, July, right? Which kept get pushing back because we wanted to also have space for what was going on at the time. But she was definitely great to have her on and have her perspective
Yeah.
on things. Yeah.
Um, Jeff.
I was gonna say that. Yes.
I enjoyed the interview with Jeff.
Yes.
1,000 Black books for inmates.
Yes.
That initiative in itself,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
He talks from just a place of genuity and passion. And
Yes. So passionate.
it's very, it's heartwarming because it's almost like he's like that father figure, uncle figure. Like I've watched some of his lives since. And like just that, like he's very passionate in what he does and really just advocating and making sure that he's providing a different pathway. And it's true what he says all the time. He said, I could have been that person.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So no, I definitely thoroughly enjoyed that interview as well.
Yeah. So I was going to say the same thing, that he does speak with a lot of passion, a lot of heart, and it stands out, and especially with the audience that he caters to, right? He goes into high schools, goes into colleges and speaks with and just speaks with people. And I think it's so important for that representation as well, especially going into high schools and colleges, right? For a young Black man to see another Black man doing those kind of things and speaking out and speaking about books and speaking about like connection and community and support and all of it. It's so important. So with his initiative, so after that live, I was like, okay, good. I'm going to go clean up my bookshelf. And I went into the garage and had literally tons of Eric Jerome Dickey books.
Oh my.
Literally tons, Rachel, tons. I think I was able to go through a whole slew of stuff, and then I took over a box of probably 20 plus books over to Blade Runner in Brampton. So I was like, I walked in, I'm like, I have some books. And then my son and husband got their hair cut at the same time. So I'm like, perfect, this works.
For sure. I think that initiative in itself, because there's been so much conversation around reading material.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
oh my God.
Yeah.
He's in here.
Oh, nice. Hey.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
No, I was saying, like, there's just so much conversation around reading material. And, like, one of the things that Jeff had said was that it's easy to find, like, a Harry Potter book or, you know, like, but to find something, again, that these guys are able to relate to.
Yeah.
Like, there's little to any.
Yeah.
And it's so simple as something as small as some people might say, like, it's just a book. But, like, being able to read something that really you can understand, that's from the culture, that's for the culture.
Yeah. Representation.
Yeah. So, Jeff, amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for being on.
Yes. But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed that interview.
Yeah, I did too. From a watching standpoint, I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else.
You know another interview that actually was a heartstring puller for me? The interview with Nova.
Yes.
Right? And it's interesting because we're talking about pageantry and things like that. And like a lot of people have their ideas on pageantry and pageantry community and all of that. And being able to speak with her, knowing that she's the current reigning Miss Universe Canada, but then also hearing bits of her story And I'm a person, when I speak with people, I always pick up on what is not said.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in her story, she spoke a lot about love, and she spoke a lot about coming to Canada as a young child and not seeing her family
Yeah.
since she left them as a
She
young
hasn't
child, right?
seen her family yet.
No, no. And I think she mentioned she has not seen her family in what, 15
Yeah.
years, something like that. Um, and then how her family's still in a, oh gosh, I might get this wrong,
In a
in
not a refugee camp.
refugee camp.
Yeah.
Yes, how her mother is still in a refugee camp and she really has hopes and aspirations to get her here, right? And it's interesting because I really enjoy that conversation to see the humanness behind the dresses and the crown and the makeup and the shoes and everything else, right? To see a beautiful black woman as the reigning Miss Universe, but also to hear her story and her struggle.
And it's true because even as Miss Universe Canada,
Yeah.
she herself
Oh, yeah.
faces racism on a
Yes.
daily. And I took it
Daily
on
basis.
myself after the day that she was crowned Miss Universe
Mm-hmm.
Canada. I went on her page and I
Mm-hmm.
first page as well. And the comments
I know.
that were on there. And I believe she made a post where she actually sat and read some of the comments.
I know. Yes.
And she's been someone who's advocated for
Like Black Lives Matter.
very long time before she was even Miss Universe Canada. She's
Mm-hmm.
come together and organized marches and whatnot in BC.
Yeah.
But to see that for her, like she receives comments on a daily.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
And
Yeah.
it's never stopped her. I think if anything, it motivates her more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she's an amazing, amazing example, especially for our younger girls who might
Yeah.
be facing it, whether it be at school or what have you.
Yeah.
No, she's an amazing example.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. When she posted her reading the comments on her Facebook page, so I was watching that. And for me, as a black woman, hearing a black woman reading these comments about her and her blackness, I was like, oh my gosh. But just to hear her reading them and, as you said, not being pulled down and discouraged, and I'm not saying it didn't hurt for sure, but still being able to be motivated and to be able to still speak so kindly and lovingly
Yeah.
about the comments that she has gotten and how she does not let it take from her.
No, for sure.
Right? That is so much strength at a young age as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. So much strength at a young age. And not to become jaded by this world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because as we all know, those comments are hard and they're hurtful and they could pull someone down, but she doesn't choose to be pulled down by it.
I think the other thing too is she ran a couple of times.
I think so. Twice before?
Twice before, and once she came in the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 2 times that she ran, she felt the need to have straight hair or
A weave on, yeah.
Like she felt the need to, I guess you could say, quote unquote, conform or take on that identity that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And it was this time where she came on as herself.
Yep. Yep.
She was crowned Miss Universe Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
that in itself.
Yeah. Such a powerful story and such a powerful role model, especially for our young girls.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Montana.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, Montana is a very vital part of Keepsix. She's usually in the background. She's super, super sweet. She's very shy. But
Yeah.
when it comes to emails and if you send us DMs, she's probably going to be the one responding to them.
Yep.
But Montana really keeps everything afloat for us.
She is literally the right arm of Keepsix.
Yeah. And so we had Montana on to talk about what we were doing with Toronto Black Farmers Collective.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the summertime, we collaborated. We do a lot of work with Toronto Black Farmers Collective to start off with, but we collaborated and we had 50 food boxes that we were donating and giving to families that have been affected by COVID directly, families that were in need. And the food boxes included a whole chicken. It included all produce directly from the farm. So Toronto Black Farmers Collective has 2 farms, one in Milton and one at Downsview Park. And I've spent a lot of time working with them, myself and Richard. But all the produce is full of organic produce, and all the produce that we put in the boxes, with the exception of the chicken, was all produced on this farm. And Montana came on and really spoke to the initiative itself, who the families were that we were supporting, where it was coming from.
Yeah.
And she really just made sure the entire operation was running smoothly.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because Montana is shy, right? She doesn't like to be in front of the camera. But you know what? She did such an amazing job. And she had said to me before, Natasha, don't ask me any questions that I'm not prepared for. I said, Montana, I may, but I will definitely ease you into it. And she was such a trooper. She had no hesitation. She came on and spoke. And you know what? Even though I spoke with her to prepare her beforehand, she told me stuff, and I know her from us working together in Keep Six. Just from that live, I learned so much of what is going on in the organization that is not part of, yeah. Right? Because I always say, like, Keep Six has all these arms of it, and Montana literally has a piece in every arm. So her being on the live, I was able to, like, oh, really? We're doing that? That's amazing. Oh my goodness. So it was nice to have her to come on to speak with us and also speak with our community and followers to let people know what is going on, right? Because I think a lot of times people see you, people see me, but people may think this is all that's happening.
Exactly.
But there's so much going on. And I think Montana did an amazing job to come in and just explain the other stuff that is going on. Because Keep Six has so many different things, different initiatives, different partnerships that are going on. And Montana is definitely the go-to person to figure all that out. So I actually think we should have her on again.
I think so.
Yeah.
Good idea. Because we've got some things coming up in February, and I think she'd be amazing to talk about them.
Yes, I agree. So now the question is, who's going to tell her?
So the funny thing is, Montana actually just jumped on, and
Montana, hi.
About you and how amazing you are, and how you just make sure everything runs smoothly. And
yes,
and FYI, we are planning to have you back on very soon.
Very soon.
To talk about it. To talk a little bit more about what's coming up and what's going on. So there's your heads up, Montana.
This is your heads up. Perfect timing, Montana. Your ears must have been itching.
Yeah. Exactly. But no, that was yeah. And even like just being able to work with the Toronto Black Farmers Collective. Like I learned so much in such a short period of time. And so for anyone who is thinking of volunteering, looking for volunteering opportunities, we are going to be looking for volunteers starting probably April-ish, end of March, April. And again, there's 2 farms, so one in Milton, one at Downsview Park. And it's basically just learning about food sustainability, and community sustainability for one, and really just understanding what it takes. I think it's a skill set that everyone should know or have. And Jacqueline and Noelle have a wealth of information.
Beautiful.
So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in the springtime. So if you want to volunteer, let me know, DM me. I will be organizing quite a few days. So we can definitely do that. We had quite a few volunteers that came out last year. Some were actually consistent every Sunday. And it's great. It's just great to be good vibes, great people, and be one with nature.
Yeah. And I think it's important to mention that the greenhouse is still open for some herbs and things like that now. So for those of you who are looking for herbs and for certain produce, the greenhouse is open. So it's not only in the spring or summertime that you can go year round.
Yeah. So the greenhouse is open in right now. So they have a lot of Scotch bonnet peppers, a lot of peppers in general, but a ton of Scotch bonnets, a lot of herbs, so a lot of mints, basils, tarragon. They've got a little bit of bok choy. They've got callaloo, but it's more herbs right now. Some of the lettuces and kale. They do have a lot of kale. But come springtime, that's when the rest of the produce will be there, but you still have the ability to go out there, specifically the Downsview Park location.
Nice, yeah.
For the green.
I just had an idea, and I'm going to say it now since we still have some time. I have a couple of friends who are dietitians and who talk about food insecurity and food sustainability, and I think that would be an amazing potential live/partnership with the Black farmers.
No, I agree.
Yeah. So okay.
We could.
I will.
We could do a live from the greenhouse.
Yeah. We
could do a live from the greenhouse.
We can do that. Okay. Cool. Okay. We'll put that on our to-do list. Our topic list. I'll reach out to my colleague. Yeah. And pick her brain.
I'm trying to think who else.
You know who I enjoyed having on? Karen. So another one of
Karen.
Yes. Another one of Keep Six volunteers, members. Yeah, she was great. She came on and was just talking about how important it has been to be a member of Keep Six and to volunteer at Keep Six and to being able to support the community, right? And she spoke so boldly and passionately about the fix systemic issues that impact those who are imprisoned and those who are seeking justice from the criminal justice system, and how systemic issues also plays into that. And then, you know, we had a conversation on how also mental health plays into that as well. And then I think Richard jumped in on that call as on that live as well. So I think that was a great impromptu conversation because she has a wealth of knowledge and she was so passionate and right. And I think that's one of the things too, to be able to see also who are the people who are doing the Keep Six work.
Yeah, because you see Richard, you see myself and you.
Yeah.
But you don't really see the team.
Yes. Yeah.
And that actually reminds me, so we actually just uploaded a few videos on YouTube that we are going to be uploading on Instagram as well, but you can check them out on our YouTube. We've uploaded 3 or 4 videos with members of Keep Six pertaining to setting up your home office. So that was one with RMT Christian Hurry. And he was speaking on, since everybody's working from home right now, what are the best ways to set up your home office, what's ergonomic, what's best for your body, stretches, things like that. Speaking of which,
I know, right? Like,
me and
I'm
I
like,
had a 90
I was watching it. I was like doing the stretches.
stretches. Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, 90-90-90 rule.
90-90.
I was watching it. I literally was watching it and like stopping and I'm like, okay, my chair. Am I good here? How am I writing? Like,
How far away is this? Like,
yes.
yeah. Um,
My screen. I was like, okay, my other screen. I'm not turning
yeah,
too much. My balance. My
yeah.
phone should be on this side.
So that was a fun one to shoot. And then Natalie did the home workouts from home. As well as I think what was it, food prep or something
Food,
along those
food. Oh, food prep, but it was food storage.
food storage. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So there's
yeah.
quite a few that we've just uploaded on YouTube. We're gonna upload them on Instagram, but quite a few new videos that are very
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Very helpful as well.
yeah yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I know we've been talking about the IG lives, but I also want to talk about some of the other stuff that we've been doing, not so much on Instagram, but also from a social platform,
Yeah.
right? So there has been the concert. Yes. That Rachel was endlessly a part of and organizing and coordinating and getting all the artists together and everything. So now that the concert is over, it's been a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling about it?
So the concert, for those who don't know, we put together in a month.
Whirlwind.
First of all. And it was a lot of work. I was like, yeah, we could totally do this. It's virtual. Like, it's not like we need a venue. We're good. We can, like, this is no problem.
No. Still needed a venue.
Oh, so, um, it was a lot of work, but it was so fruitful. And it's like, when we look at what's going on in the city right now, there's so much politics between artists. A lot of the shootings that are going on right now, we've lost so many rappers in the last year and a half to gun violence. So it was, why don't we take artists from the six, but provide a more positive message, right? And that's what we did. We had artists, different age groups, different backgrounds, different languages. That really came together. We put this concert together and we fundraised and we got so many donations. We got monetary donations, we got clothing donations, food donations. Everybody from the community just came together and we were able to. So you think the work was done before the concert. After the concert, now we had to organize all the donations to get them to where they needed to go. So we did some donations to a few of the local subsidized housing organizations in Brampton and Mississauga for toys to go to children in local areas. We did a huge donation to a local shelter in Brampton.
Nice.
So that was clothing, food, gift cards. We did two big toy donations as well to a church, where we were also there outside in the cold, and it was cold. But we were handing out toys and gift cards to a lot of the kids that were there. We did a food bank. We did food for a nursing home for the essential workers.
Amazing.
Make sure that they were eating, so we did lunch for them. And we went to quite a few families who have lost loved ones to gun violence. We had one mother who had lost two sons.
Oh my gosh.
We had quite a few other mothers who lost a son, and we got the response from that. I had one mother who like broke down right in front of me.
Mm.
I got a call actually from Lewis March, who runs Zero Gun Violence, who actually helped support us in sort of providing us with contact information for the families that a lot of these donations went out to.
Yeah.
And he said the calls he received of thanks and gratitude and immense appreciation, because it's a
Mm-hmm.
hard time right now.
It is. It
You're,
is.
it's supposed to be family time. It's the holidays. You want to be with your loved ones, and
Mm-hmm.
your children or your brother or your son is not here because he's
Yep.
passed due to gun violence. One
Mm-hmm.
of them actually lost their son close to Christmas as well. So
Mm.
for
So that
her,
reminder.
it's a reminder.
Mm.
So it was really great, a great feeling to really like just give back.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's amazing to be able to know that the concert had such a large impact of those who viewed it and involved, but also a huge impact to the community where this is exactly was the point
Yeah,
of doing the fundraising concert, right? And being able to help
yeah,
so many people, right? From frontline workers in nursing homes to children at local church to mothers and families that have lost their children to gun violence, like right across the board. So thank you so much for doing all the work on the concert and for being out in the cold,
oh
delivering presents. And thank you to everyone who's donated,
yes,
right? Because without you following and sharing and liking and donating, none of this would be possible.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. So we couldn't
Yeah.
have done any of it without all of you.
Yes. Definitely.
If there's any comments, questions,
Yeah.
no, I think we're good thus far.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to just touch base on, excuse me, on the empowerment to unlock the justice system
Yes.
that we did in, November? I think it was November.
Did we do one in November?
I think it was November. I would have to literally pull up my agenda, but I think it was November. I think it was November 19th. Yes, it was November 19th. Um, I'm literally pulling out my agenda, people. Yeah, November 19th. Um, we did an empowerment focusing on mental health and community supports. And I really wanted to focus on mental health and community because something that I've recognized during COVID and and I guess also, doing this work with Keep Six has allowed me to definitely expand my network. So I've recognized that people definitely want and are looking for mental health supports, but not knowing where to go, not knowing how to access, not knowing who to trust for community supports. And also at the same time, I've been noticing, probably also because I'm in the mental health field, that there are community supports available. So I'm thinking, what's the disconnect, right? People are looking for mental health support, and I'm seeing community mental health support available. Well, what's the disconnect? And I think the disconnect is and has been that people don't know about it,
Yep.
right? There's no marketing, advertising, people who are feeling they can go to other people to trust to get the information. Big. It was a large panel that we had. So we had um, artist, rapper, reggae singer Latoya Jane. We had Richard Atkinson, who himself has been street involved, and he runs a pottery shop, and he speaks out to youth involved in street life and gang life and things like that. We had Asante Houghton, who works at these bigger and harder mental health issues, but also knowing that the situations that we may find ourselves in, the experiences that we go through, definitely impact our mental health and impact the different things that we experience. So it was a really big panel. It was an interesting panel. A lot of great conversation, a lot of great gems were dropped. And actually, I think it was yesterday, Richard messaged me saying that on our Facebook, because it was live streamed on our Facebook as well as on our YouTube channel, that people are still watching on our Facebook. And I think it's had almost 5,000 views.
It was something like that, because he texted it to me too.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yes, same thing. I was like, are you sure? I was like, send me the link, Richard. Are you sure? And he was like, yes, people are interested, right? People are interested in I think, wanting to see that people are talking openly about mental health and mental health struggles, and also knowing that these supports are there. There are some community supports that are available.
No, 100%.
Yeah, so no, I think that was a really great panel as well. I'm very appreciative to people who came out and spoke about, even though that they may be community workers or activists or mental health professionals, they also spoke openly about their own mental health challenges.
Exactly.
Right? And experiences, and not only mental health challenges such as anxiety and depression and other things, but also their experiences that brought on these mental health challenges.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really important to see that it's not just certain individuals or certain demographics that go through it.
Yeah. Right.
Professionals.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And I think it's very important to identify that and see that and recognize that.
Yes. I mean, I speak openly about my traumatic childhood, about my father being an alcoholic, about the physical abuse that I endured, and I speak openly too. Like, yes, I'm a therapist who has a therapist, because these life experiences that we go through, they're hard and they're challenging and they're hurtful. So why not get the help when the help is there?
Of course.
Right? And this is why it's important to know that there are community supports available.
Yeah. And it's been an amazing, it's been a very, what's the word?
Interesting. I don't know.
There's been so many lessons.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
There's been so many lessons. I feel like a lot of people that I've spoken to at the beginning were down because of it, but as they reflect on 2020, they've been able to see lessons learned. They've been able to draw closer to family. They've been able to draw closer to loved ones, start a business, do more soul searching, self-reflection, and I think we really needed that time to really just pause and take time for ourselves, because we're in a society that is so go, and is so just so concerned with what's next sometimes that we don't take time to really reflect and take time to sit down and look at what we have in front of us.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm grateful for the lessons. And I mean, it's been beneficial thus far, so I'm excited to see what 2021 has in store.
For sure. I agree. I mean, it was funny because I was thinking a few weeks back on where we all were this time last year, right? A lot of people were excited. 2020 is going to be my year. It's going to be great. It's going to be da-da-da-da. And then as 2020 started and we started to get into it and people were like, yes, this is going to be it. And then it's kind of like, bam, that's when lockdown, pandemic, all that happened. And I think that, yes, 2020 has been hard on so many levels and for so many, right? There's been so many people who have lost their jobs. There have been people who have had to right, take on extra shifts and jobs to be able to support their loved ones. There's been people who haven't seen their loved ones
For a very long
all
time.
year,
Yep, it's true.
right? Um, it's been a lot. It's been hard for us to go through that and to be able to still be here and still be able to be reflective on all that has happened and that has gone on. I think that taking those pauses for those of us who have been able to, right, to pause and to reflect and to look back and maybe to create space, I think that's been so important to
Yeah.
be able to even do that,
Yeah.
because sometimes we don't. And I think for myself on a personal note, I feel like I have been able to do that this year, even though for me, I have been very, very privileged because work has actually gotten busier
Yeah.
this year. We know that with the pandemic has been traumatic. We know with the racial injustice, things have been really traumatic. So, I mean, for me, being a therapist, also a person who specializes in trauma and racial trauma, there's been a lot of different opportunities, but also to be able to stop and look and to reflect and see all the stuff that has been happening this year. And I think this year has been a year where a lot of things that we as Black women, as Black peoples, as racialized peoples, as Indigenous peoples and communities have been going through and experiencing, this has been the year where other people are starting to understand or even opening up to have an understanding, right? And it's sad that it has to be like, oh, something really bad and really traumatic has had to happen for other people to kind of fall on board and fall in line. And at the same time, it's like, okay, finally,
Yeah.
right? Kind of that like finally. So, and with that, I think being able to have platforms like these where we're able to speak really openly and being able to have the community that Keep Six has to have these conversations and to be able to do this work that really focuses on the communities that are being impacted and the racialized communities that are being impacted, it has been great to be able to be a part of all of this.
No, it has. It has.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. I see we're
Yeah.
almost at our
We are.
so I want to just take this time to thank everybody for tuning in this year for 2020. We didn't expect it to still be here in December, but we're here, and I'm excited to see what 2021 has in store for us. Natasha, it's been amazing co-hosting Connect the Six with you. I know you have quite a few things on your plate for next year, so we may not necessarily get to see you as often as we're used to, but thank you so much because it's been an amazing ride.
It definitely has been. And I think definitely, Rachel, it's been such a pleasure to get to know you and to work with you. And it's so funny because I still always think back, I'm like, we've actually only met once in person.
Yeah, literally.
Right? Literally. And even though it's only been once in person, I've really enjoyed getting to know you and, connecting with you. And yeah, it's definitely been a great ride. Yeah, definitely. We'll see what happens in 2021, right? As we get used to saying that. And yeah, we will connect, you guys. We will be here. We will be around. You might see some new faces on the platform as we try to get some of the other volunteers that Keep Six to maybe join in and to host. But you know what? We are always here to do this work, to connect the six. Yeah.
Literally.
Right. One interview at a time.
Yeah, it's been great. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. And Happy New Year. Please stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
It's been great. Sending everyone lots of love, lots of health, lots of peace, lots of blessings for the new year, for you and your families. Take care, everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye. Good night.